Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Dr. Aviona here, a doctor of physical therapy. Today's episode is a little peek behind the scenes of my daily life as a home health physical therapist. I'll show you how I use my iCal or Apple calendar to stay organized and sane during a busy week. Plus, I'll show you what's inside my therapist survival kit that was given to me during the PT month. And this one, what I bring to every patient. So if you are a PT student, a new grad, or just curious about how home health works, stick around. Let me start with a little story. So when I first started doing home health, I was kind of overwhelmed. Imagine trying to fit in 6 to 8 patients visits a day, all in different zip codes with traffic, lunch, documentation, and the occasional patient emergency. I tried writing things down on paper at first, and spoiler alert, it did not work. I was double booking myself, missing follow-ups, and arriving either too early or way too late. So I knew I needed a system, something simple, flexible, and always accessible. That's when I fully learned to lean in to use the iCal or Apple calendar. So why iCal or use digital calendar? First, it syncs beautifully across all my devices, iPhone and my iPad. And for obvious reason, I am an Apple user. I can literally pull it up mid-visit if a patient says, can you come next Wednesday at 10? I use color coding, and this is a huge tip. Purple is for patient's visit, or basically I'm working. Red is for canceled visits. And yellow is for break, so between breaks and stuff like that. And blue is for team meetings. I think that's really good when you have that color coordinated. And don't forget, pink is a personal self-care. Yes, we need that too. So, and I add the address directly in the event so I can tap and navigate via maps. It's easier when you already have it on your calendar. And I also create recurring reminders, like to restock supplies every Sunday if needed, or do my notes, or check my mileage login every Friday. So I think that's a very good thing and a good advice that I can give to you guys. Now let's talk about how I actually schedule my day. I typically start with a geographic clustering system. So if I have patients in Plano and others in Frisco, I'll try to block them together. So I pull up my iCal and use the week view to see the gaps. And let's say I know patient A is always early morning and lives 20 minutes from patient B. So I'll book them back to back and add 15 to 20 minutes in between for drive time and quick notes. Another thing I do, I add custom alerts, like a 10-minute reminder before each visit and an hour reminder to drink water or eat something. Yes, therapists forget that too. Believe me on that one. So having a calendar routine also helps with burnout. I know what my day looks like before it even begins. So if I want to have an early finish on Friday, I start shifting patients early in the week. And I always leave white space, like 1 hour per day for overflow visits or just breathing room. I even use calendar notes to jot down what the patient needs next visit. Let's say, for example, bring a resistance bands, or review their home exercise program, or follow up on DMA order. You can't rely on memory. When you're treating 30-40 patients a week, your calendar becomes a second brain. So I want you to read this book from Tiago Forte, Building a Second Brain. It's also a very good advice that was provided. And take note, he's also a mix of a Filipino, I believe, and I'm a Filipino, so I think that's a very good support that you can give him. Now let's switch gears and let's talk about what I carry with me. Is my therapist survival kit, and this is my trusted physical therapy kit because everything I needed to evaluate and assess my patient is here. So everything I bring in this inside, it has a purpose. It's very much lightweight, but it covers with a lot of grounds like cardio, neuro, wound, and ortho, you name it. I wanted to show you first what's inside here. So first is the digital blood pressure cuff, manual, or you can use the digital. I just like this because it's very portable and it's easier to put them on my survival kit. This is essential for, so you put them here for the arms. So this is essential for initial evaluations and follow-ups, and especially with patients who have cardiac or vascular problems, this is what you need. It's very important. I use this brand, this German brand, and then I prefer the digital one because I think it's faster, it's efficient, and sometimes for me, if I wanted to make it more accurate, I'll do the manual as a backup, but it can't be fit on my therapy survival kit, so that's not on here. And of course, I advise you to always clean your cuff between patients to, to sanitize them and to make sure it's an infection control life. And so let's do the next one. We have our digital thermometer, and the digital thermometer is, I use this, so my USB port or the port of my iPhone is still this one, so the old ones, it's not the C. This is essential since COVID, so I never skip this, and I use contactless thermometer. So you just plug this in on your device, and they also have the USB port, but since I'm still using this old USB, the port of this iPhone, so then I kind of use this, and this is easy and hygienic and not invasive because it's not touching any patients at all. And then it helps you catch signs of illness before the treatment, and you want to be safe, so that's why. Now the next one I have on my list is the pulse oximeter. Okay, you can see this one. This pulse oximeter, oh, I cannot pronounce that, is absolutely crucial because especially for patients with COPD or long COVID long overhaul of COVID, or generally if you're walking the patients or deconditioning, it's you wanted to really check prior to moving them around because you don't want to create any kind of like stress to the patient. So I always check the SpO2 or the heart rate before and after exertion of the exercises like gait training or stair climbing. It really depends on how you would want to use this, but this is very efficient and great to use for patients who really necessarily have to see their conditions. And plus it gives your documentation a solid objective measure. So having this, it's very, very efficient. Now what we have next is I have this neurological hammer. I think physical therapists must have this. I carry a standard Taylor hammer. This is to test for deep tendon reflexes or DTR, and also this is important in checking on kind of like neuro patients or those who have happened to have diabetic neuropathy or some tingling sensations in their hands or post-stroke patients, you want to use a neurological hammer. And sometimes if they have herniated disc, sometimes I notice whenever you do check their reflexes, sometimes they have that tingling sensation. It's a simple tool to spot upper or lower motor neuron lesions as well. So this is a very good way to do and check for upper or motor lower neuron lesions. So neuron signs, powerful tool to spot upper or lower motor neuron signs. So the next one I have here is what we call the pen light. So I have here a pen light. So this pen light is also another essential use for me. And then this is used to check pupillary responses for patient, or you can if they have vestibular issues, sometimes you ask them to follow the tip of this pen light to see whether there's a nystagmus that happens. And you can also use this to look at the throat or skin conditions if needed. And especially this one is especially helpful when you are working with patients that has who have vision problems. That's more than likely the most important, because they usually compensate for their balance with their vision. But if they don't have vision, and it's harder, and if they have head injuries, you kind of try to check of the, as I said, pupillary reflexes to make sure that's not affected as well. Now, the next one I have on my survival kit is the tuning fork. This tuning fork is 128 hertz tuning fork, and I use this for assessing vibratory sense in for example, I use this for feet or for hairline fracture. I use tuning fork if they have greater diabetic neuropathy. This is also good for assessments, or if you have like spinal cord involvement, or sometimes, if they have concussions, you can ding it and then place them closer to their ears. And then sometimes they have tension headaches that happen over here in front, or from checking on their hearing, you kind of have elicit some of their headaches as well. So this is also a very non-invasive and a good way to compare sides on each ears as well. And we have the tape measure. So this tape measure that I use is for swelling assessments, or you can use wound to assess the wound, how big is the wound. But of course, you have to have that laminating paper or a cover sheets before you start measuring the wound. And this is also good for tracking progress in limb girth or swelling, or if you're checking leg length discrepancies, you use the tape measure. Now, last but not the least, of course, I keep this this hand sanitizer. This is from Bath and Body, I believe. I keep a whole pack of this with me. Clean hands is equal to a happy therapist, is equal to safe patients. So again, this is not sponsored, but I think I use this because it's also it smells good. You can use any brand you like, but I like this. It's very handy, and that's why I use these devices, or I use this therapy survival kit, because it actually gives me a survival way to assess and evaluate my patient. It becomes my second nature to actually clean. So I clean this most of the time to make sure that this kit is clean and well checked, especially if they need battery updates and everything. So, but don't forget, I also include my iPad for notes. I jot down in between rest breaks of the patient, and then complete my full documentation once I'm done and I'm inside the car. I'll try to do my rest breaks as well, just so I can write it down and finish all my notes before going home. Or when I go home, I fully complete the notes already. So that's what it is. So I hope you have your own survival therapist survival kit, and if you get the chance to grab this somewhere else, let me know, because I think this is also good for whatever you wanted to use it for, and it's cute. I think it's cute, right? So there you go. There you have it. I think the beauty of home health is the flexibility, but only if you create structure within that freedom. iCal helps me create that structure. My PT kit helps me feel prepared wherever I go, and the combination, it gives me confidence. I'm not rushing, I'm not guessing. I'm showing up fully for my patients and for myself. So whether you are in school or already practicing, find tools that help you work smarter, not harder. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with me. And if you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up and maybe share it with a fellow PT, and let me know in the comments. Do you use a digital calendar? What's inside your kit? And if you want more behind the scenes like this, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next for another episodes of Beyond Physical Therapy. Stay kind, stay organized, and always keep showing up. Bye guys, I'll see you soon.